B-Leaguers, it's your boy here, Dan at the B-League Says, coming at you with something that he would never normally do. We are doing a SuperFlex Bestball draft. Yes, something that I have been more than incredibly hesitant in doing. It's just something I've tended to stay away from, so I figured I would do a live draft. Over at Underdog, it's $5. It's the puppy, but SuperFlex, and we are hopping into a 30-second draft, 20 rounds as per, and we're going to try and do something I haven't done in a while here. Although for some reason, I'm trying to find, there we go, 4 picks away. I've entered into on my phone the wrong draft. I was about to draft the wrong team. Doesn't really matter. We are drafting from the 110. Now, if anybody has any ideas or any strategies they have that they'd like to share with SuperFlex drafting for best ball, I would love to hear. It's a worthwhile conversation. But from what it's worth, what I have been doing of late, when I get these later draft spots, naturally, I am going against the grain. I am going with the player over the quarterback. Would I rather CD Lamb or Baker Mayfield or Bo Nix? I am 100% going CD Lamb. And if I can get one of these running backs on the turn, McCaffrey, Gibbs, or Barkley, I would be more than happy to do so. As with most people, I think, and I can double down on quarterbacks when it comes back to the 310 as it would be. But yes, I have been incredibly hesitant to do any form of SuperFlex Bestball because I just like to keep it simple. It's not me being lazy. It's just me being simple. I like the standards for it. But you know what? The game is progressing. The game is changing. So there they go. So it's Genty or Derek. You know what? I haven't got a lot of Ashton Genty this year. Derrick Henry is there as well. I like Derrick Henry a lot this year. Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray. I actually don't hate the idea of Kyler Murray because I think Harrison will be there on the turn. Let's do that. Let's go Kyler Murray. I haven't got a lot of Kyler Murray this year either. I found that his price is a little odd considering what they did and didn't do their splits last year as it would be. Maybe we'll get Dak at the 310 if he falls. I don't think so. I don't think he'll fall that far. Anyhow, before I crack on any further, please look at the ticker down below. If you have anything to do with Swole, anything at all, please go find Jeff Lambert77 on X or Twitter for all the Scott Fishbowl information you have. You can go over to our free Discord, going for two free Discord. It's a fantastic place to be anyway. Mid-season, you find out all your articles there, all your episodes and shows stream from there, give or take, or you get information about when they go live. But with Scott Fishbowl, you can find where your mocks are, your league chats are, all that sort of thing. And we have shows going on, the live draft shows going on. Find out all your information about that through Jeff. You can find Kyle. You can find all those sorts of guys who go for two, and they will find all the information for you going forward. As always, obviously, we have an affiliation with Fast Draft. This isn't a Fast Draft platform. This is Underdog, a little bit more old school than what we think I could be. But over at Underdog Fantasy, promo code GF2 for 100% matching deposit up to $100. That's always been the promo. I'm sure it's still the same. I have not been told otherwise. Until then, otherwise, we can look at Fast Draft as well, which is a quicker drafting platform for best ball. It's pick 6, 4 flexes it would be. Interesting way to go about it via the Matthew Kelly Underdog Roto Underworld or whatever it might be creators. As it would be. It's a decent platform as it would be. It's quick. It's a 5-minute draft if you're into that. This is probably going to take a little bit longer because 20 rounds, 30 seconds a pick. Just a lot of me gibbering and jabbing around. But again, we'll talk more Scott Fishbowl if you want, more SuperFlex information if you like, and we can do all that sort of stuff as it were. We are going to be on the clock in a few picks time, and we're looking at so we're probably looking at either if Dak's there to pair with Lamb, I don't think he'll be there. Most people are going to line up for their first or second quarterback. And there goes Dak. So we're not getting the CD Lamb stack, but they do play and pair with Washington, so you can run a naked stack with him. Deebo Samuel a bit later, Terry McLaurin if he's there now, Zach Ertz if you like, for that Week 17 run back if you had to, if that's something that you're interested in doing. If not, I do not blame you at all. Let's have a look here. We're looking at Marvin Harrison. He's actually fallen back a little bit more, so we're probably not going to look into that too much. We're probably going to aim for a quarterback, or we can try and run London into Penix. So that's something we're going to do if Drake London is there on the clock. I don't think so. I've got a gut feeling this person. Oh, no, there we go. Let's go Drake London. And we're going to try and stack with Michael Penix there. We'll see if we can get lucky in that regard. But, you know, a CD Lamb, Drake London start isn't something that I'm too upset about. We have Kyler Murray. We can run with Penix, and we've got a little bit more to go with that as well. If you wanted to look at who Atlanta are playing, you look at their buys, and I've been doing a little bit of work on the buy range as well. We're looking at, where are we here? Atlanta, they go through Tampa, Arizona, and the Rams through that 15, 16, 17 playoff run there. So some high-scoring games there with Tampa, Arizona. We got a little bit of a stack there, obviously, with Week 16 and Kyler Murray. That should be a high-scoring game, we hope, as it could be. We're also looking at different bye weeks, so if we can get on here. And we are on the clock. We're going to go. There we go. Michael Penix. Why can't I draft? I'm not drafting. What's going on? There we go. We got Penix into London. We have a nice little stack there, as it could be. Now we can start filling that roster in. If we go another quarterback a little bit later, we can do that. But I don't hate the idea of having Murray, Penix, Lamb, and who was it? Drake London. That's an interesting run through there to start with. Not bad. 2 quarterbacks, 2 wide receivers, and we can fill in as we go. It seems like even through this platform, you know, seeing a lot of running backs go through that early range as well. They haven't changed. Like, you're looking at Chase Brown, maybe has fallen back half a round. The guys like Kyren Williams, Breece Hall, they have too. It's just really a lot of the wide receivers have fallen back out of all this. Wasn't a lot of tight ends that are going through. They're about the same range. They haven't changed too much. So it's nothing to hate on, if you could. Interesting times. But I heard there's a lot of hysteria around. There will be a lot of hysteria around the Scott Fish Bowl. It's a really weird time to do a draft on something that isn't Scott Fish Bowl. But when has my timing ever been right anyway, right? So it's okay for those who have followed along. I have been away for a few weeks. We've been on a bit of a vacation, haven't been able to do that. But again, as I did say, I have been doing a lot of work in regards to bye weeks. And I know that sounds a little funny, but more in particular the week 14 bye. Obviously, because when you do happen to look at things like, advance rates and all that sort of stuff, it was something that I absolutely whiffed on a year ago. And you look at where you went right and where you go wrong. And I feel like it was such an easy thing to say. The Commanders and Cardinals have a week 14 bye. I want no part of that, as if my season came down to that. So I know that sounds really, I don't want to say childish, but like it absolutely was, because then you miss out on Jaden Daniels, then you miss out on Terry McLaurin, then you miss out on Zach Ertz, then you miss out on all those Cardinals guys that have high-powered volume in them. We're about to get on here in the 5th round. Oh, we might end up getting Marvin Harrison. That could be interesting. Huh? How about that? I haven't had a draft go my way this whole time, so, you know, whatever. That's interesting. I think that would be funny if I ended up getting that. Let's see. Oh, wow, we're going to get that. And I think we could start looking at running backs here. Marion Hampton's there. Aaron Rodgers is another quarterback. That could be interesting. There's not much more. After them, there's a Russell Wilson. Okay, we can look at that a little bit. Let's go running back. We need a running back. We'll talk a little bit more about the other things going on, about the bye rounds and whatnot. Hampton, that could be interesting. Najee Harris is still there lurking though, right? Chuba Hubbard's pretty much got it there to himself. I don't hate the idea of Chuba Hubbard. Screw it. Amari and Hampton, let's get weird. Let's do something different. It would be easier. Hubbard was my highest rostered running back a year ago, and my loyalty towards that is very high. But you know what? Let's go Amari and Hampton, because you know what? Chuba Hubbard, the week 14 bye. Let's talk about that. As I said, about a year ago, it was just too easy to go out on teams with that. I thought, you know what? We're trying to advance. We're trying to do things that are a little bit different in regards to how I would do things. And obviously looking at those things from a year ago, it was just so easy to say, I don't want any of those Cardinals or Washington players. But you look at it this year, there's 4 teams out of the Week 14 bye, and we are looking at the Giants, we're looking at the Patriots, 49ers, and Panthers. Now, I went over a whole range of emotions going through this. I'm not going to lie to you. I went through a range of emotions here because obviously being a Giants guy, and I feel like they're on a bit of a rebound this year, and their value is so cheap. I know that sounds funny, but Giants players outside of Neighbours, who obviously the toe issue, you're starting to get a bit of a discount on at the moment. But they're so cheap, partly because, quite frankly, they're absolute shit. But you look at those guys and you can get late stacks, and they have an interesting run in through the playoffs. You're looking at, they have Washington, Minnesota, and Vegas as well. So obviously, if you end up going Genty and Bowers, you can get those Giants guys later to fill out like a Slate and a Wandale, Skadibo, whatever Giants quarterback you can find to pair with Geno. You can get them late. So they're an interesting team to pair with. Obviously, the Patriots are one of those weird mid-range teams at the moment. I talk about, you're looking at between the 8th round, 7th round, obviously with Travion Henderson, give or take, through to that 12th to 13th round, ending with Hunter Henry. And you're looking at Drake May seems to be the hot sauce this year. He's the guy that everyone's jumping on, sophomore QBs. I understand the ideals. But that wide receiver room is absolute mess. Everyone's getting on Kyle Williams. Kyle Williams is a guy who has shot up a third round wide receiver. He's shot up to almost be, I feel like he is getting up there. Stephon Diggs has floated back a bit. He's had a bit of controversy this offseason. For whatever reasons, it doesn't really matter. Don't blame him for like punching blow and hooking up with whores. No judgment, Stephon. Fair play. But it is what it is in that regard. And you're talking about San Fran, all their players are higher rated. George Kittle for me is the tight end 1 this year. I feel like I try not to leave any drafts without him. It seems like to be the easy way to go. We are 4 picks away before I talk about the Panthers as well. But we are looking here. We have 1 running back. We're talking about team build. Murray, Penix. We've got Hampton at running back. Lamb, London, and Harrison. Feel pretty good about that. There are no tight ends outside of Sam Laporta. Although Dallas, if I do remember correctly, have Detroit. No, they don't. Detroit have Minnesota. Okay, yeah, that's okay. I'm not worried about that. Let's have a look and see who we are. We're up in 2 picks. Anthony Richards is an interesting one. I feel like I've got to leave with a quarterback. There is absolutely nothing after Russell. Listen, Russell Wilson is going to be starting this year. I don't think that's much of a surprise. I don't hate what he is building. So we are going to look at this team. I feel all right at wide receiver at the moment. Let's grab a few guys. We're too high on the turn. Let's go Caleb Johnson. I'm going to look for some guys that I don't have a lot of either. Swift, Montgomery, Jenkins. Yeah, not sure right. Bunch of guys in there. And we're going to grab Russell Wilson there in a few picks' time because Tyler Shook. Yeah, the Shook out of here. Yeah, so we were talking about those bye week teams. So Carolina's in there as well. So Carolina, obviously week 14 as well. You look at Hubbard, it starts with him. Really, Ted McMillan's gone. He's the number 1 guy out of Carolina at the moment. He hasn't caught a ball yet. So that's an interesting place to start too with him. But yeah, let's have a look here. Let's grab Wilson. I haven't got any Russell Wilson this year. Let's get weird. 8, 5, and 14. And by then, Russell Wilson's probably been replaced, so it doesn't matter too much. Happy with that. Yeah, so you look at the front runners there. So obviously, Neighbours, mid-first. McCaffrey starting to go into that early, or that late first as well, up into the 109. Early second, really. Look, it's a sick world where this could be, an incredible start if you could get now, obviously, Neighbours with the injury discount you're getting. You could go McCaffrey into Neighbours. That'd be interesting. But if you were to happen to get through to that place where you're like, all right, it's week 14, my top 2 draft picks aren't available in week 14. Like, you're talking about a world where both players are healthy throughout the season. Your team has blown up, obviously, with some certain guys that you've had helping you along the way. You get to week 14 and McCaffrey and Neighbours aren't there, you'd be pretty bummed. But if everything went right, they've probably got you to the dance anyway. So you're probably able to get by. But that is a pretty sick starting two in that regard. In terms of McCaffrey, though, like the idea that a 30-year-old running back with like Achilles issues can get us forward more than what we think. A guy with how many years has he not like finished a season? Like it's kind of wild to me that he's still going that high, and in a half PPR format like underdog. I kind of don't feel the need. I'm going to go against the grain. Everyone's all on McCaffrey now. When he was a mid to late second, sure, but now he's come up a full round. And that's not even in Superflex, but in Superflex, you just saw then, like early second. It kind of, to me, I understand the idea of like playing for a team to shoot. There's so many rookie running backs that have the same potential. There's so many pass-catching running backs later in the draft that can get you those spike games where the risk into McCaffrey, just for me, it isn't there. So I am 100%, give or take, all out. But you look at the next set of players that are on the bye coming up. McMillan, Kittle, Chuba Hubbard, Travion Henderson. He's mid to late 6 now. Sorry, not 7. We are on the clock in 5 minutes, 5 picks. Like McMillan, for me, like in a zero RB, that's fine. He's wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4. I can get that to a degree. However, you know, if you go RB and a quarterback and all that sort of stuff in between, I don't think I can get behind that. Jerry Jeudy sitting there, Addison sitting there, Jordan Mason, Jacoby wide receiver 1 in Vegas. We got some Giants corollary there. Jacoby Myers. I'm going to look at a guy like Travis Etienne because I really don't think the hype behind Bigsby or Bayshall Tootin is going to be a thing. Yeah, I'm probably wrong. Oh, Travis Kelce's in there too. Yeah, I might go with Travis Kelce if he's there. Let's go either Etienne or Kelce. Let's see how weird we can get. Addison's form. That's the 10th round. We got 10 to go. Not too bad. After we do this pick, let's have a look. 10th round pick for Travis Kelce. He's still got, you know, the idea that, you know, everything's coming down a bit more around him. Good Lord. You know what? Let's miss him. Let's go ETN. Let's get another running back in the books. Let's go that. I don't hate it. Yeah. Before I get going on to more talk about the bye weeks for week 14, as always, go find Jeff Lambert on X or Twitter for all Scott Fishbowl ongoings from divisional chats, mock drafts, live shows that I've got coming up over the next 2 to 3 days. It's worth your time to go find him and find out more information. Or just come over to our free Discord at Going for Two. It is free. It's a fantastic place to be. Ask questions, get questions answered by people who you've been watching and following along for God knows how long. As always, promo code GF2 over Underdog Fantasy for 100% matching deposit up to $100. To get more best ball information, you can tag me in our best ball chat over there. Yeah, as I said, so you're looking at a guy like McMillan. I don't think if I was going to run with a running back, a quarterback, and a tight end and get a spread of players before that 4th round, he's the wide receiver I'd be leaning with. I'd probably something a bit more consistent. But Kittle, for me, is probably the guy. You're looking at, oh man, his numbers with and without Deebo Samuel a year ago were absolutely bananas. And he's got that big in him. He's a guy that Purdy looks to frequently. And then you look at Brandon Ayuk, who I'm going to talk to about at length very soon. Yeah, very, very interesting year for Kittle because I feel like he's the value guy in a 4th, 5th round ahead of a McBride or a Bowers at this point. I think we know what we're getting from Kittle. And that floor is stupid high. And I think he is the guy that's going to end up the tight end one this year. That he's just going to get peppered like nothing. I don't know your name here, buddy. It's Bin King or Bin King. I don't know. But either way, we got the question. What are your thoughts on Jordan Mason right now? I think he is appropriately valued. So I have no problem with taking Jordan Mason. I know I just overlooked him for ETN. I know that Jones is going to be the starter over at Minnesota. I feel pretty good about Etienne at this point. I feel like he's going to be the starter over at Jacksonville anyway. So for me, in terms of numbers, I don't hate where Jordan Mason is going. I think he had a very good year last year when he was called upon over at San Fran. I don't think he's the worst guy you can go get. So, yeah, feel good about him in best ball. He's going to have his moments. Aaron Jones has shown every now and again that he misses a bit of time here or there. Aaron Jones had a really good year, though, a year ago. So, yeah, don't hate it for him. Mark Andrews, Tyler Warren, Evan Ingram. Interesting spot to be there. Javonte Williams. Evan Ingram, that's an interesting one. Haven't got a bunch of him. Let's go Evan Ingram. Let's see how that goes. Let's get weird. Let's get weird with Evan Ingram. Fully recovered. A few spike games here or there. Yeah. So yeah, I don't hate Jordan Mason this year. I think he's all right. I think he's in a good spot. And I think he's a clear upgrade on whoever they had. Who was it? Ty Chandler last year. Cam Akers. Cam Akers had a few spike games as well when he was called upon too. So I think guys like that have good value for where they're going. Ooh, Rashid Shaheed. J.K. Dobbins. That's an interesting spot to be in. Let's go Rashid Shaheed. J.K. Dobbins. Let's get some J.K. Dobbins. I don't mind some Dobbins. Good usage of the running backs and tight ends through a Sean Payton offense, I think. It's Bink King. That's a cool name, man. That's what is I said Jordan Mason? What is I said Jordan Mason is a potential league winner? Yeah, I think a lot has to go right for that. I think what if I said yeah, I mean, no, I think anyone in the right situations J.K. Dobbins could be a potential league winner. Do you know what I mean? Look, I think I like what the Vikings have done on their O-line this offseason. I think they've done well. I like a bit more continuity with what they've done. I think they've done well. I think that TJ Hawkinson's going to come in healthy this year. I think that's a great thing too. You need McCarthy to perform how O'Connell wants him to, which I don't think is too much of a stretch because obviously he's done it with I don't want to say lesser quarterbacks, but obviously he's been able to get away with it with Darnold. And who did he have? It was Cousins before the year before, right? So he's been able to do that with guys on a whim and what, he had a few decent games out of Josh Dobbs on a short leash, right? So you can get good quarterback play. So they're going to move the ball no matter what. The biggest thing for me is what sort of work is he going to get into? Now, if Aaron Jones is healthy, it's at worst 65-35. That's a good spike week player for you. I don't think that's a starter by any stretch. But if something were to happen to Aaron Jones, and no one really preaches bad health over here, no one wants to do that. Shout out to Dr. James Ferretti. How are you, Doc? Look, he can walk into one of those years where he punches 1,006 to 8 touchdowns. But you got to hope that someone like McCarthy, who's probably more mobile than Darnold and Cousins, doesn't poach him when they get down to the 5-10 yard line, which can obviously happen with those mobile quarterbacks. So I don't like where he's going in terms of value. I think the potential's there. He's got as high of a floor as a backup can go, but I don't know if he's going to be a league winner at this point. But I'd love to be proven wrong because he did really well last year when he had the chance. It was really fun to watch. So no problem with that. I'm going to talk about one of these guys in a minute. Speaking of backups, and obviously, look, you can look at the list of backup running backs that are going now. It's incredibly apparent. Rashad White, Guerrero, Algier, Eckler, Bigsby, Roschon Johnson. Where are you, Jamie? Roschon Johnson talk. We're up in 2 picks. I don't hate the idea of Dallas Goedert here. Got it. Don't mind that at all. Let's go Goedert. Goedert and Ingram. That's an interesting one. Oh, there goes Guerrero. I was about to talk about him a fair bit. Where are we up here? I've been drafting from my phone. I'm not actually drafting from the laptop. So what you're seeing now is the laptop, but I'm drafting. So if you could see me looking away, I'm actually looking at what my draft is. I've absolutely struggled for my life to do this, which is quite absurd, really. So the lineup so far: Murray, Penix, Wilson, Hampton, Johnson, Etienne, and Dobbins at running back, Lamb, London, Harrison, Myers at wide receiver, Ingram and Goddard at tight end. I am looking at Austin Eckler here. I still think he has a role to play out in Washington. They didn't really add to that backroom. We take Eckler. We are calling it a day at running back. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Look, the opportunity there, because obviously they were hesitant to bring Aaron Jones back, right? Even for what, another year? I think his deal was another 1 year, I think. So it's not that the opportunity isn't there. I think Jones has the stroke at the moment with that offense. He really did play. What do you have? 1,500 yards and 7 touchdowns a year ago. Something stupid. He went off, right? So he didn't look like an aging running back. He looked elite. So it's going to be hard for someone like Jordan Mason, who has only filled in at times sporadically, which is fine. When he's had the opportunity, he's looked really good. So it's going to take a lot to get to that spot, I think. But he does check a lot of boxes. He's good in pass pro. He's good in catching. He's good at getting between the tackles. He's a good player. And he's a great player to have there behind them. But as I said, in specifics for drafting at this point, every one of these backups at this point, look, Rico Dowdle's there. Rico Dowdle's going 5 rounds, 6 rounds later than Jordan Mason, and they're almost in identical situations where the 1A running back in Jones or Hubbard is going in the same range in that 4th, 5th round. These guys have a 5-round separation. You can fill your roster in with that. So, yeah, we are going to pack it up at running back. We're good for 5 there. We're going Hampton, Caleb Johnson, Travis Etienne, J.K. Dobbins, and Austin Eckler. We are done. We're going to call that the fragile running back room because, fuck me, Travis Etienne, J.K. Dobbins, and Austin Eckler, great. So, whatever. And I think, for the fuck of it, I think I'm going to call it a day at tight end with 2. Normally, I like to go 3, especially in the 20 rounds, but Ingram got it. That might be interesting. I might be able to get 10 to 12 a game out of that. I don't know who else is going to fall off the board. Maybe a Mason Taylor. That could be interesting. That might be interesting, Mason Taylor. But, I'm looking around here, and those wide receivers are just shocking. Oh. How is Shader Sanders still being drafted this high? I am stunned. Stunned. And obviously, around this time, I'm starting to look at filling off the rest of those stacks. So we're looking at either Rams players. Who's the Falcons got? Falcons have the Rams. Arizona have Cincinnati week 17. I think Mike Gesicki's there. I was going to pack it up. Mike Gesicki's gone. Oh, my God. All right, Mason Taylor. Let's get weird. That's it. No more running backs. No more tight ends there. No more anything else. It's just wide receivers. Let's just get weirdos. Romeo Doubs is there. Alec Pierce is there. Let's just get weird. Let's get weird with these wide receivers. The last six picks, the last 5 picks are going to be wide receivers. We're going to have a 9 wide receiver room. Good Lord, man. What is wrong with you? Might call it an 8. Whew. Well, I was trying to talk about week 14 buys, but I think that's out the pisser. Who we got here? Quentin Johnson. 8 touchdowns a year ago. What is this? Josh Palmer in Buffalo. He kind of feels like the same as Romeo Doubs. Alec Pierce. You have to hope he can reproduce. Let's get weird. Let's get Quentin Johnson. Let's get weird. Let's get weird. I would never take him. I don't care. Let's see what happens. Mike Williams is in and around the area. Who's the wide receiver they draft? Who did they get? No one really, right? I'm having a mental blank. My God. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, we look. As I said, I was talking about those week 14 buy players. I'm looking at guys like Isaac Guerrero. Like you look at the 49ers, I would very much like a gamble on him this year because you're talking about that end of the season. You need Christian McCaffrey, who doesn't really finish seasons going that high, getting hurt that frequently. Guerrero feels like in a win-win position. He's almost in that. He's a much better Tyler Algier. But you look at Bijan Robinson going in that same range as Christian McCaffrey. It's the same sort of guy, right? The 15th round, you can go, all right, well, Bijan's incredibly healthy and he's been able to get away with it this year. McCaffrey has not. If I had to take a gamble on one of them, I'd take Bijan and look at Guerrero later. Picks time, my God. All these wide receivers, DeAndre Hopkins, do we dare? De'Ami Brown's an interesting one. Darius Slayton. Theo Johnson. Slayton's an interesting pick to go with Russell Wilson. We have a run back there with Myers. If you're looking at other players, we're looking at that final week. We're looking at Arizona. As I said before, Arizona have Cincinnati at Cincinnati. Interesting. Falcons have the Rams. I don't know who else is there in the Rams. Maybe a Tutu Atwell game. That could be interesting. He always seems to pop up. Giants have Vegas, so we're already on top of that. So we'll see what happens here. Tutu Atwell draft. I don't think I've drafted him once yet. Tutu Atwell, Andre Yoshevich, welcome to the team. We're going to look at you guys a little bit later. I don't mind De'Ami Brown here. It's such a weird thing. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I look at these players, right? De'Ami Brown, he gets brought in from a guy that tried to draft him when he was at the Rams. And they've got a guy here who could play a little bit of – I have no problem with Travis Hunter playing cornerback. I just think it's more opportunities to get hurt. I know that sounds silly, but you're going to start dropping guys who are a lot bigger than the guys that you played in college. That kind of screams, all right, there's more opportunity to get hurt. That's De'Ami Brown sitting there. He had those big streaky games for the Commanders a year ago too. Interesting sort of guy to get. De'Ami Brown there, sitting there. He had a few decent games. Maybe he had one decent game. Darius Slayton sitting there. I can go Wilson into Slayton and oh no, I'm not going to be able to draft. Wilson into Myers and Slayton. That is an interesting run back there. Let's go some Darius Slayton. DeAndre Hopkins is in there. Can Hopkins contribute? Oh my God, I just got sniped on Slayton. How disgusting. Ugh. Let's go Hopkins. Let's get weird. Let's get Hopkins. I did draft a team a few hours ago, and it was like reminiscent of the 2020 All-Pro team. And a part of me just went, this is incredible. And I went, oh my God, what happened to them? And he was a part of that. Andre Yoshevich, yeah, let's get Yoshevich. Let's reach for Yoshevich. Let's do that. Let's get that AZ. And I don't care at this point. I'm running for guys on upside. I don't think I want another running back. I feel pretty good about that. Tight end, we're cooking. That's fine. That is fine. We're okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so week 14, we're going to try and talk about that one more time. Maybe not. Again, another guy that I like this year and don't like. I like Juwan Jennings. I don't like Brandon Ayuk. I know this sounds such a weird thing to say, but they're going roughly in the same range, that 6th to 7th round, 6th to 8th round if you want to be an Ayuk guy. You don't want to be. It doesn't really matter. But you're looking at a guy that's almost certainly going to start on the pup. So that's 3 weeks, maybe 4. He misses and then works his way in. That's maybe week 5, week 6 by the time he's hitting his stride. So you're looking maybe 4 to 6 weeks before he starts to do any damage from you. So that's almost half of the first half of best ball, right? So obviously week 1 to 14. You're talking about a week 14 bye as well. So you're missing another game. So you're talking half the season he could potentially miss for you. I don't know. I look at Juwan Jennings. He had those massive games. He had, a 3-touchdown game a year ago as well. And then you need Pearsall to really take steps forward, who may or may not. And then on top of that, you have McCaffrey, who could or could not get hurt again with his injury history. You look at Juwan Jennings, he might, by proxy, he might be the guy this year that is standing tall at the end with George Kittle. I kind of see that. They brought him back. He's a Shanahan guy. I look at this and go, you need Ayuk to not miss half a season, and it almost certainly looks like he will. If he misses 3, 4, 5 games plus week 14 bye, Pearsall may or may not do anything, and McCaffrey could be or is not. I tend to not back a bunch of 30-year-old running backs with injury histories, although my team at the moment with Austin Eckler and J.K. Dobbins would tell you otherwise. Don't want to be too much of a liar. But, I really like what Juwan Jennings has at that ADP this year. So if you miss out on Kittle, guy like Jennings is just sitting there. Those are week 14 buy round guys as well. You're looking at Skatibo and Tracy. I tend to lean Tyrone Tracy. Just out of he's been there and he's done that. He's got the pass casting chops. You don't really see Russell Wilson skirting around anymore. It doesn't really happen. So I think the dump offs might be there for him. We are on the clock next. I don't want to go Theo Johnson. I don't want to do this. AD Mitchell, Tyler Lockett, Taj Brooks, Noah Arroyo, Tutu Atwell. There we go. Let's go Tutu Atwell. Let's get a Rams stack there with, who was it? Who was the Rams? Atlanta. Hey, listen, a dome game, Atlanta, high-scoring game, week 17. That could be interesting. Tutu Atwell against Atlanta's weak secondary. That's an interesting one. Noah Gray's going for Theo Johnson. There he goes. We're looking at this. Tavian Wicks. No, I'm good. There is not much here to look at. Ray McCrowd? No. Jalen Talbot, that's an interesting one. Murray Cooper. There is absolutely no one here that I want. You know what? He's been the talk of the town this week. Let's go for a fun pick. Ty Johnson or Elijah Moore? Ty Johnson or Elijah Moore? Let's go Ty Johnson. Let's get weird. I wasn't going to go any more running backs. That's okay. As it would be. We are about to wrap up here. I have just got rid of that screen. That's fine. Your boy here, Dan at the B League says, thank you for joining in for a 20-round SuperFlex draft over at Underdog Fantasy. Promo code GF2 for 100% matching deposit up to $100. Fair play, fantastic. Before we get going, as always, please, for the love of God, find Jeff Lambert, El Capitan, Jeff Lambert 77 over on X or Twitter. Find him, get all the information on Scott Fishbowl 15. It is going to kick off sooner than you think. Drafts, I think, start happening this week or up in the upcoming week. Find him. Find our group, our Discord, GF2. You can find us over there as well. League chats, positional chats, mock drafts, live shows going over the scoring and all that sort of stuff. Find all your Scott Fishbowl information that you need to there. It's a fantastic place to start and be. I don't know what else to tell you. The team was all right. I don't hate the team that we had lining up over that. The team, as it were, was it the puppy but SuperFlex, $5 entry over at Underdog. Quarterbacks, we went with 3, Murray, Penix, and Wilson. We got him a decent value. We reached a little bit for Wilson, but it was fine. Running backs, I landed with 6, Marion Hampton, Caleb Johnson, Travis Etienne, J.K. Dobbins, Austin Eckler, and Ty Johnson. 8 at the wide receiver room, we had Lamb, London, Harrison, Myers, Quentin Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins, Josephus, and Atwell. It is a very weak wide receiver room, but spike games. Again, if I can get consistency out of those first 4 in Lamb, London, Harrison, and Myers, I am in business and will look for a weekly spike from one of the other guys. Tight ends, a little bit of a weaker room. Ingram and Goddard were there. I ended up getting Mason Taylor. He's got the same bye week as Dallas Goddard, but we're talking about a guy who could be the second receiver on his team. That's what we want out of our tight ends. The top 2 receiver on your team, Mason Taylor, could be it, unless he can't beat out Josh Reynolds and Alan Lazard. So probably he will be fine. Either way, I'm your boy at the B League says, as always, come find us over on X, on Twitter, in our free Discord. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Enjoy yourself. Cheers and